take that off. See my ball dome. Dump that over there. Gosh, it warm. Right, we are live. Hello, guys. Hope you're all good. Mickey here. Somebody can let me know how we sound. Can you see me okay? Can you hear me? Sorry about the light reflecting in the glasses. Unfortunately, that's the way the screen is. Yeah, a bit quiet up here tonight. Unfortunately, Kaz isn't feeling so good, so she's actually in the other room having a bit of a lay down, but she's probably monitoring this on cell phone. So I have no doubt what she'll do. She will chirp in, and if she feels a little bit better later on, she might join us. Well, I hope you're all good, and I hope you're all having a fine and dandy time, and all your families and your friends are well. How's it gone this week? It's gone a bit mental. Thanks to everybody for all the comments this week. God, blimey. I sat here for 3 hours answering the cheers, Lee. I should pass it on. Sat here for 3 hours answering comments. You wouldn't think answering comments was so difficult, because I sit here and I read a comment and I go, yeah, awesome. And how do I spell that? How do I spell that? How do I spell that? Evening, John. Pub is open, my friend. This pub is open. Although tonight I am on cigarettes. Didn't get a chance to get out and get any cigars. And same reason, didn't manage to get out and get any cigars or cider. So I'm on the tea tonight. Might have a little something in it just to give it an edge. A little bit of gunfire. Well, it's not really gunfire. Gunfire's made with hot chocolate for any of you ex-Navy guys. And gunfire was hot chocolate and rum that was served to the guys to keep the morale up and keep them going in difficult conditions. Yeah, not too bad. Could have done with a little bit more slurp in it. Anyhow, yes, we're all good here. Hopefully you're all good there. It's a bit warm this evening. We're at that funny autumnal time where through the day actually today it was a little bit chilly, a little bit blowy, and now the wind has dropped and the air temperature's coming up to the point where I've opened the windows and I've got the fan going. Can't odds it this time of year, can you? Anyhow, I hope you all liked the video this week. Yeah, that was a genuine first attempt. I've had the One Tigris kit here for 2 or 3 weeks and purposely hadn't got it out, hadn't opened it up, hadn't looked at it. And that was so that when I showed it on the channel, I wanted people to see, because we're back to 101s, I wanted people, hi Katrina, how are you? I wanted people, excuse me, a bit of indigestion, gulp my tea tonight. Wanted people to see what it's like, new bit of kit, first time, and how I approach it. And I also wanted them to see that it doesn't always go right. I did say on the video, I was pointed out to me by somebody, and he was right to point it out. I made the comment, don't get your hammock on the ground unless you really have to. And then within 30 seconds, what I do, drop the end of the hammock. Okay? Now, excellent, Katrina. Glad you're all good. I hope the family's all lovely too. Yes, I dropped the end of the hammock on the ground. Now, when I was editing, I did look at that and I thought I could cut that out. Okay, it could be an easy cut out. However, left it in. Reason I left it in, because we all cock up. Okay, I'm not perfect. Nobody is. If I leave my mistakes and my errors in, then that way people see I'm an honest person. If people find you honest, then they trust you. So if you say to them, don't stick the cotton wool ball to your finger and light it, they know you mean well by it. Evening, Sam. Yeah, I'm not too bad. Unfortunately, Kaz is a little bit off colour tonight. She might join us in a bit. She might not, but I've no doubt she'll follow along on her phone or a computer where she's having a lay down. Yeah, she's just unfortunately, bless her, arthritis is getting the best of her at the minute. Got to go see the doctor and change some of the meds. It's really giving her hell. Really struggling, poor soul. Last couple of days, she's been in absolute screaming agony. She can't get comfortable. If she sits or lays for any length of time, it gives her hell. And she's got it in the majority of her joints, so it affects everything: hips, knees, ankles, right down to toes, fingers. It's murder, neck, back, you name it, it hurts. Yeah, so we manage. She's taking the painkiller, or taking the best dose of painkillers she can. Hi, Law Minds. Hope you're all good, my friend. And yeah, she'll appreciate the fact that everybody's sending her love. Ray, good evening, mate. Yeah, not a bad. Well, not a bad week, mate. Not a bad week. So we're getting on. So yeah, so we did hammocks, and in the future, and this week coming, we will be doing an overnight at me and Mac, and I'm going to use the hammock system. Mac's not let me know yet. He said, I'm going to do one of the other systems. So he's going to crack on with something there. And I did put the question out, which cook system do people want to see? And everybody put up, well, there's loads of comments giving it what they fancied. And I when I went through it earlier on, the most common comment was Swedish cook set. So what we will be doing, looks like we'll be doing a bit with the Swedish cook set. What we'll do, we will probably do our main evening meal in the Swedish cook set. I've already got some ideas there, and I will probably take along, I think the next most popular was gasifier. So I'll probably take along the gasifier and combine that with the mess tin for doing some other bits and pieces. So that way gives you guys in a chance to look at some of the kit, gives you guys that are experienced and know what you're looking at a chance to giggle and laugh and point out what I'm doing. Yeah, so that should make an interesting one this week. Might even throw in a bit of camp coffee and that sort of thing, just for the guys that are new to it. I'm pretty sure all of you, cheers, John. I'm pretty sure all of you have figured out over the years, or seen how to do cowboy coffee, and how to actually get all your coffee granules to disappear, or coffee grinds to disappear, how to sink them. If not, have a look and see what you think. It's a technique that works very, very well. And it stopped me having to carry things like filter papers, cafetières, and all that gubbins with me. It meant basically either I could have a coffee bag, which is the easiest way to go with, or if I've got ground coffee, I could take that out with me. I could cook that in a saucepan. I can prepare it in a coffee pot. I can sink the grinds, and then nobody's getting any bits in their teeth. So yeah, we were chucking that way. Hi, Gary. Exactly that, my friend. Exactly that. And as I said to you on the message earlier on, if you young lads watching, welcome. However, sometimes it gets a bit adult on a Sunday evening. Not too bad, but. So you like your coffee crunchy and chewy. I've heard that about you. Yeah. So those lonely nights in the woods in your hammock crunching through your coffee. Oh, so evening, dirty faces. How are you? So I had hoped to plan something for tonight. However, as always happens, best will in the world, things go a bit awry, slightly to pot. So we've been sort of working around other things, and I've also got a lot of planning going off in the background. And I've just noticed something I was looking for 10 minutes ago, because it's got to go outside and into the kosh locker. But I've just spotted it in the camera over that shoulder up there. Yeah, there we go. Large container of methylated spirits. Not a good thing to store in the house. Not a good thing to store up there. If it falls off, breaks open and leaks, we're in a world of problems. Yeah, I know who put it there. We can see the gnome. Yeah, he's in charge of everything. He's a bit of a swine, actually. Whilst Murph the Smurf that you used to see, he's actually off on a top secret operation at the moment. And the gnome's on standby, so he's taken over. However, power's gone to his head. Like his gnomes are like, getting a bit authoritarian, screaming and shouting. So yeah, so methylated spirit will go downstairs with me when we finish tonight. I shall lock that away in the shed. Yes. Where else can we go? Where can we go? Right. So have to giggle. Sign above my head. We should say training areas. About makes it up for the British Isles. There you go. Military training area. If it ain't raining, it ain't training. Hi, Ian. Yeah, not too bad, my friend. Yeah, Kaz is suffering a bit tonight, but yeah, she may join us later on. If not, she'll join us on thing. Mate, wood pellets, brilliant thing. Slow to get going, but once they're going, works. I tell you, let's have a look. I've got one out. Bear with me a moment. Oh, right, John. Wood pellets. Got switched onto them a while back. Okay, so my first attempt was putting them into the Kelly kettle. Okay, the all suit Kelly kettle didn't work. What I find is if you've got the pellet, so there's no air drawing underneath it, it's a bit of a stinker. What I did do, I made that, which basically just sits inside my Kelly kettle. The wood pellet sits on top, and in fact, actually, the holes in that are a little bit large. Some of it falls through, but that sits in there, and that allows an airflow underneath it and a bit of a draw. And what I'm finding with the wood pellet is you need a little bit of heat. I'm finding better on top of it rather than underneath it. It seems to be that if you can get a column of air rising, it draws the air in underneath and helps them to burn better. I don't know whether it's wood pellet seems to be developed more for smokers and things, and normally you'd light it from the top. So it just, for whatever reason, it seems to work that way for me. Same, and that's the reason it works superbly well on the gasifier stove. Yeah, cat wood pellets. Yeah, you can use those in a stove. You can use them in the gasifier stoves. They make a brilliant fuel source. They really do. Another trick with them is remember they're very absorbent. Okay, so don't use spirit. If you use things like methylated spirits, you've got a high vapor rate, so there's a risk of when you light it. Although saying that, you can also get a bit of a candling effect where the vapors will burn. So using just a tiny amount will get them going, and to have that candling effect, so you get an initial heat and flame. I'm experimenting at the moment with wood pellet and things like white spirit, which is more oil based, diesel oil, and cooking oil, and a little bit of Vaseline, and trying different combinations of that on wood pellet in a little tray, light it, see if I can get like a faster or a better burn going. I do know it's going to work, that it will. Yep. Yeah. Strip spirit burner and chug up spirit top to make it inefficient. Yeah, it works. It works. I mean, it's at the end of the day, this is the art to it, isn't it? It's playing. This is one of the great things about this sort of thing. We're all playing constantly, trying different ideas. Hand sanitizer gel, yeah, hand sanitizer gel, always in your beer, you get awesome stuff. Funny enough, not only hand sanitizer, so I'm always gone about Vaseline. Carry little tubs of Vaseline, little pots of Vaseline, mix that cotton wool balls and so on and so on. Makes great fire lighter. Sudocrem, the baby nappy cream. If you're in an environment where you've got high risk of infection, high risk of rash, very hot, very humid, very damp, okay, you can get what, easy terms, monkey butt. Okay, it's something that everybody, I think, in an extreme environment suffered at one time or another. It's excruciatingly painful. Sudocrem, the old nappy rash cream, that works very well for it. That also makes a very good lighter for your fires. Using the same method, mix it with cotton wool balls. Yeah, makes a great incendiary source. Other things you can use, Vicks Vapor Rub, funny enough, but don't breathe the fumes from it. It will clear your nostrils out. But if it was an emergency survival situation, it works. If you somewhere where you're, say you're surviving, or you've got a situation and you'll find material resources around you, things like wood sheds, workshops and things like that, and you're trying to scavenge or salvage ignition sources. Okay, keep an eye out for things like that. Wood polish. Okay, that's beeswax and turpentine. Okay, that makes a brilliant fuel source and fuel starter. So basically, the old-fashioned wood polishes, be they Lord Sheraton's or whatever they be, they were invariably beeswax and turpentine mixed. Okay, so it was actually the beeswax fed the wood, and the turpentines will broke that down enough to make it moist enough for it to get in. Both brilliant sources. Other ones you can be aware of, Danish oil. Okay, yeah, that sort of thing for treating wood. You'll find that in workshops and places like that. And again, that will ignite and get things going. Linseed oil. Linseed oil is quite dangerous. If you mix it with cotton and leave it in places, it can generate heat and spontaneously combust. It's not reliable enough to be able to just take a bit of cotton, mix a linseed oil on it, fold it up, put it to one side and wait. However, if you've got it in rags, I mean, I used to use a lot of it for knife handle preparation and the stuff I was doing in the 4 years ago. And one of the things I always had to be aware of was when I finished with it, separate the rags up, bin them separately or clean them. It reduces the thing. Yeah, shoe polishes. Anything that's wax, paraffin oil, beeswax, turpentine, anything oil based will assist your fire. Even vegetable oil on a cotton wool ball takes a little bit more to get it going because there's a high moisture or a high water content. But once it's lit, it's going. If anybody's ever been lucky enough to set fire to their chip pan, will know. You can drip water and oil. In fact, that's another one. I might actually show that this winter. Might wait for the winter. There's a method for creating fire on a car bonnet or something similar to a car bonnet, large metal sheet. And basically, it's a drip oil and water system. Okay, but it requires a fire to get it going. It's one of those weird things that you need the fire to start it. Once you've started it, this then becomes your maintaining fuel source. It's the sort of thing that works in a scenario where you have one last ditch item to burn, and then you're down to using things like engine oil, oils, and water. And it makes a very, 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 very hot fire using minimum fuels because it's a drip feed. However, I will say to you, it is also a little bit naughty because it can run away with you. You've got to be very careful with your management of it. Evening, Mac. How you doing, mate? Hope you're all good. Saw what you did earlier on today, mate. Excellent. That's looking stunning. I'm impressed with that. Yeah, so, that's a drip feed fire. So basically, it's easy to show you than try and explain it, but trying to explain it, it's quite difficult to do. But we will do a drip feed fire later in the year. And again, animal fats. So our ancestors rendered animal fats and used those for making everything from lamps, candles, to heat sources, to cooking on the Inuit. They've used for centuries blubber for cooking and for making fires, creating heat, making light. It's all out there. Basically, if you just think to yourself, it's oil based. What happens with a lot of oils, if I take cooking oil and drop a match in it, because it's hydroscopic, because it's got a level of water, it starts to match up before the match can ignite it. But if you heat that oil, or if you can warm that oil, or if you can get that oil into a good enough air to oil mixture, it'll ignite readily. So by putting things like oil onto natural fibres, basically what you're doing is you're raising the air to oil ratio, and it ignites easier. It's why it's easier to ignite an oily rag than it is to ignite the oil on its own. And again, as anybody's ever done any grinding in a workshop, can find out on occasion. You know, it just takes a little spark and it's away. Yeah, so that's fire. So what we're doing, I mean, hopefully everybody's enjoying the 101 series. Hopefully I know for some of you guys, it's a little bit of going back to the beginning sort of thing. And it might be a case of, blimey, I've been doing this for years already. But we're getting a few new viewers, and we're getting some younger viewers as well, who are looking to get into this sort of thing. So it's great. It's opening it up to them. And we've got a few guys that have joined us that have no experience and admit it themselves. They've got no experience and are happy to learn. So again, Sunday night, this is where we all share ideas, methods, techniques, have a laugh and have a giggle. Okay. Normally it's a little bit more practiced, and normally I have a good idea of what I'm going to do. Tonight, I will admit to you, my head is a complete bit of a loss. So, anyhow, what we will do now, we'll put its hand sanitizer. I'll just go through this because I'm doing so. Brasso wool, yeah, Brasso wool, awesome stuff. Shoe polish works. Yeah, a couple of Ranger bands frayed on one end. Yeah. Good old bicycle inner tube. Can't go wrong with it. Rubber works superbly. In actual fact, tyres, right? In an emergency, if you're in a worst case situation, you need to signal, make heat, whatever, tyre off that vehicle. Okay, rubber burns ferociously, burns for a long time, easy fire to maintain, can be used to set fire to things that are damp, gives off a huge amount of smoke, so it's awesome for signalling. Okay, it just takes it a little while to get going. One word of warning: if you are going to set fire to a tyre, my advice to you is to make sure that you've depressurised it first. Stab it, make a hole in it. As if you don't, it can make a hell of a bang. That's all right. Messages coming in on the side. Turn the phone off. There you go. Yeah, it can make a hell of a bang. It's been known to happen to people. In actual fact, there was a fatality about 5 years ago where 4 guys were killed by the wheel from their Jeep. What they'd actually done is they'd taken the spare wheel off, laid it on the ground. Now, their thinking wasn't about the rubber. Their thinking was, because it's snow on the ground, we'll use the inset of the rim to make a fire pit, which they did. They created a fire pit, and that got the fire pit going, and it heated the rim heated the air and the tyre created enough pressure that it eventually went boom. And I believe you me, people always sort of look at me a bit, well, yeah, really? Tyre explodes, it goes off like a hand grenade. You've got to remember, these things are wrapped with steel wire, okay? And there's enough pressure in that tyre when it goes that it goes at a hell of an explosive force. So, yeah, just stab the tyre first. In actual fact, what I would do in an emergency is try and create the fire, do exactly the same method, create the fire within the wheel, okay? Well, in fact, I would turn the wheel up the other way, create the fire on the top of the wheel, so you've got airflow underneath. You've got a metal source, which is going to hold your fire off the snow. Awesome. That's also going to heat up. Awesome. Heat, fuel, oxygen, fire. Okay. I'd stab the tyre. I'd probably cut sections out of the tyre, cut that down out of the sidewall, cut it down into strips about 4x2 if I can, stack them up to one side, and then if I do need to start signalling, I can introduce those to my fire. I can use those to relight the fire tomorrow. I can use them as a fuel source and carry them with me if I need to. Just one of those things. And again, remembering in those situations, don't make a huge fire. Think about how long your fuel's got to last you. So make a fire large enough to keep those of you around it alive. Might not necessarily be as comfortable as you'd like to be, but to keep you alive. And have your fuel source last you overnight or a couple of days, a couple of nights if you need to. Because it's quite common for people to create a fire, make a huge fire, wonderful fire, fantastic for 2 or 3 hours. Fire burns out 3 o'clock in the morning, bitterly cold, and wet, horrible. Yeah. So, in an emergency, think about your resources. Once you've got shelter sorted, you've got your fire sorted, you're going to look straight to water. You look at your water, you get your water sorted, eke your water out if you have to, if you're in an environment where it's difficult to source water. If you're in an environment which is water plentiful, okay, Then you look at your food, it's your next problem. And then you eat your food out. And remember, your body, especially in cold, wet climates, your body needs those calories. It needs to keep going. But if you're not moving, you're not forcing, you can reduce the calorific level, reduce the exercise level, and then just keep yourself plodding on it. Yes, it means you're going to be hungry. Yes, it means you might get a bit weak, but it will keep you going. And the longer you can keep the body sustained at a minimum level, obviously the longer you can get on, and the more of you will come out of that situation. Yeah, there we go. Cool, that was getting a bit dark, wasn't it? Oh, no, can't do dark on a Sunday night. In fact, saying that, don't know where everybody else is in the world, but it's where are we? We're 20 past 8. It's pitch black outside, absolutely pitch black. We have no, that's why it's warmed up. Cloud cover. So about 6 o'clock, I had a look, and it was see the stars. Now the clouds come over. Yeah, bicycle in the tubes, absolutely brilliant. All right, Gary, good night to you, lad. I'm glad he was able to join us, and yeah, happy to be sharing it. Good evening, Phil. Hope you're all good, my friend. And this is what it's all about: sharing our love, our ideas, and having a bit of a crazy. So again, I had a question. Wally cords. What are Wally cords? Okay, so I think the majority of you guys know what a Wally cord is, but in case that person joins us or watches this tomorrow, a Wally cord, okay, basically it's just a simple line. That's all it is. It's a simple line with a clip on one end, which you can fasten to your clothing. In the military, a lot of guys will fasten it off inside an outer pocket, okay? So at the end of the day, if they drop any essential small items of kit that they're carrying, they don't lose them. Dangles by your feet. I like to do it off of my belt loop, and then I like to stick that into one of my trouser pockets. It's not a huge amount, and that is the basics of my Wally kit. And my Wally kit does adapt and change. I've got bits and pieces up on the wall. Depending on where I'm going, what I'm doing, what my plan is, I adapt it to that. So what I keep on there as a standard is magnifying glass, splinters, thorns, identification of bits and pieces. That is a small Gerber with a pair of tweezers. Again, splinters, thorns, small bits and pieces. It also has a little pair of scissors and a nail file on it. Great for getting rid of those snags and horrible bits and pieces. Tiny little microlight torch. Absolutely brilliant. Very, very bright. Don't have a huge burn time. However, for the sort of things you're doing, like trying to get keys into locks or maybe initially checking on something, i.e. casualty or something like that, brilliant because it keeps your hands free. Small, good quality compass. Okay, now I'm not navigating over huge distances with this, but I might just be wanting to take a back bearing and work out my route back to where I'm going to be or where I've come from, or to be able to say to somebody, you're at so and so, quick orientation. Yeah, you want to travel northeast from where you are, and you will find me on such and such track. Okay, general orientation, 9 times out of 10, and one of these. Survival whistle, and this one, I quite like this one because it's also got a Ferrocerium strike on it, all built into one. Clips in nice and firm. Does it the right way. Isn't going to get lost. Nice and slim line. You can stick that in a wallet. You can stick that in anything you wanted. Yeah, and it's got a good toot to it. The other thing I leave on there is a spare clip. And the reason that spare clip is on there, it's quite simple for my car keys. Yeah, if I'm off on a wander, I've got that attached to my trousers. My car keys are on there, my bundle of bits and pieces. And it's called a Wally cord, quite simply, because I don't know if everybody else in the world did it, but in the UK, in the 70s, us kids had a thing called Wally mitts, okay? And they were a pair of Wally mittens knitted by your grandmother or your mum, and stop you losing them. It had a cord that went up one sleeve, across the back of your jacket, down the other sleeve, and attached to it. So basically, you could take them off and they dangled. You didn't lose them. It was an expedient way of stopping the kids losing their gloves. And they were called Wally mittens. So years ago, I don't know if other people call it anything. The first time I saw it, I looked at it and went, "That's a Wally cord." Exactly the same as the Wally mittens, and I've done it ever since. It's always worked for me. Right, this seems to be a bit. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, instructors could be a bit of a shit like that, but yeah, yeah. I remember assault boots first came out. So we're talking about 1995. So the combat assault boot came out for the Royal Engineers with the soft sole and the shaped sole, and they were a game changer. Nice high leg boots, lots of grip. I got myself a pair of them, promptly to have them whipped off me by a corporal. Yeah, yeah, Wally cords. I mean, let's face it. It goes back to a simple thing, doesn't it? It might give everybody a giggle, might give everybody a laugh. Might people sit there and go, "Look at that! What? How old are you? 10 years old? You got your mittens on bits of string." But I tell you now, if you're in a real survival situation, you're in somewhere that is Arctic, or you're somewhere that's could possibly turn really bad. Simple things like that. That's the simple things like that going to save your life. It's simple bits like that when you go tumbling down a hillside because you've slipped off of a grassy bank and all your kit's going flying. Those mittens, those gloves, those car keys, those essential little bits and pieces that could possibly help you out are with you. They're going to stay with you. Things like the emergency whistle. You find yourself then laying in a ditch or a culvert or 50 metres from the track and you're injured. It's a lot easier to blow a whistle than it is to try and holler, and it would travel a lot farther. Yeah, boots with a zip up the middle. Yeah, I've had a few bets of them. I do. They look smart. They're not leak. Yeah, yeah. And again, it's one of those things. Is it? I've had boots, summer boots. I had a couple of pairs of summer combats that were sort of desert issue combats with the zipper on the side. Yeah, they work fine. They work fine in a warm, dry environment. Get into a cold, wet environment, and it's a leak point. Um, so again, and people say to me, "Oh, but I find it difficult." Especially like me. I'm getting a bit older, a bit of arthritis in the fingers, trying to sort my laces out. It's a pain. So what I do, I personally, as a tip for you, I go to bank line, and I use the bank line as laces because it's a little bit thinner. It tends to pull through the eyelets a bit easier. It's very, very strong. It's waterproof. It's not going to rot on you. Okay, and it's extremely efficient. And because it moves easier through the eyelets, it just makes it easier lacing up a long pair of boots or unlacing them. Downside is that means the locks on the boots no longer work. I've got a pair of boots up here. My boots are all downstairs. So on some of the British Army assault boots, combat boots, we've got a locking system. So the bottom half of the boot, as you do the laces up, it pulls a little metal loop over a locking pin and it locks the lace off there. And then you just tie off the top comfortably. And it makes an easy do up and undo system. Some of them have a system where it's just a narrowing of a metal band and that locks on the lace. But when you go over to the bank line, that tends not to work so well. However, I'm not too worried about that because I'm tying the boots off anyhow. Going back to the old thing of a kid lacing up your shoes and your boots. But it does make life a little bit easier. And I always make my laces over long. Okay, I know some people get really bugged about having too much lace, but I always have a little bit extra material there. Purely and simply, it snaps, it breaks, it wears. I need a bit of string for something else. Gurkhas, eh? Little buggers. Well, I'm quite lucky. I live in an area, I'm surrounded by Gurkhas here. Okay, we have a very, very large Nepalese community, ex-military, and I've worked with a lot of them over the years. And yeah, lovely guys, lovely guys. I get on all right with them. When they moved into the community here, once they started settling in the UK, yeah, they settled in nice enough to become part of the community. It's nice to see their kids growing up here as well and seeing how westernised they're becoming. Still hold dear to their um, culture, their history and that, but they also they're as British as you or me in their attitudes, you know. So yeah, more than happy. But we won't get political about that. Hi crew, I hope you're all doing good. You're never late. Get ready to go hammocking. Oh, with your 9-year-old, awesome, mate. An adventure, eh? There's nothing like it. Oh, yeah, mate. Have fun. Stay safe. Be good. Right? Tell the tales in the evening. You know the tales to tell. You know, have the adventures. It's one of the things I love about. One of the safest. One of the things I love about being out in the woods with young people. And again, I don't so much like to call them kids myself. The young people. Um, yeah, mate. Just Gary, just start me on that one. Set up a hotel for people coming into the country, but you can't house veterans. That really annoys me. But we won't get into that. That's for another day and another channel. Yeah, so young people, get them out there, have the adventures, give them that love. You know, they just that moment of wonder, the excitement, and also teaches them to feel safe and secure in those environments. Passing on your skills, nothing like it. There's nothing like it in sharing your skills and abilities. In actual fact, the 14th and 15th of this month, yeah, because we're there now, aren't we? White Rabbits, everybody, 1st of October. Yeah, I'm helping the scouts out for 2 days. So I'm up the woods. We've got scouts up there, and I'll be sharing bushcraft skills, survival skills, techniques, and that with them. And I thoroughly enjoy it. It's great. You know, they those that aren't interested, fine. They go off and do their own thing, play with their mobile phone and their PlayStation. But the others, there's always those that are fascinated. They get stuck right in, thoroughly enjoy it, and I have a real laugh. Have a real laugh. You know, it's just have to turn around afterwards. Like, just don't do this when you get home, right? Just don't, as I said on the video this week, don't go and take your mum's pots and pans and knock holes in them and tell them that I told you to do that to make a cook set. Yeah, it's yeah, I'm not going to get political tonight. I've got to try and watch myself on the political side at the moment. I'm a bit stewed up over this whole shit going off in Kosovo at the moment. It's yeah, it's going to be another storm somewhere in the world, isn't it? Where we're going to get pulled into it. Yeah, bloody world leaders, bloody politicians, bloody people in power and authority just makes me angry. Because at the end of the day, they'll all sit pretty in their ivory towers. It's the little man, the man on the ground. It's him that pays the price. And where is the support when he comes home? Politicians then move on to the next popular thing. But that's enough. Vote Mick for Prime Minister. As we said last week, make me Prime Minister, then assist me in becoming Emperor. And once I'm Emperor, you can all become ministers. Choose what you want to be the minister of, and and we will sort the world out. Oh, I don't think you ever could you? Yeah, it's a mad thing. Right, so where are we going? What are you guys up to? Give us an idea of what you're up to. I know that crew, you're off about to go hammocking. Hopefully the weather's going to be absolutely stunning for you, and you're taking your 9-year-old. That's going to be a great adventure. Oh yeah, Me and Mac this week, we're going to be up the woods. We're going to be doing an overnighter, and we're going to be talking about setting your camp up, getting organised. We're going to do a bit of basic cooking, and I'm actually going to be cooking for a change. I'm not going to do a boil in the bag. Not going to do an instant ration, I promise you. I'm actually going to do a bit of cookery. Okay. Ooh, I'm going all Kent. No, it's just, again, it's goes part and parcel with the whole survival wild camping thing. Okay, so what do? You get there, you set your camp up. Okay, you've built your camp, you've got your camp organised. Your next job is you get your fire, your cook system sorted out. You get that sorted out. What are you going to do next? Well, you might as well start thinking about your food, your meal. Make that part of it. Okay, the planning, the method, the system you're going to use if need be. Chat to your missus or go online, look up a recipe, think I'm going to give it a go. And I'll tell you one for any one of you that's never done it to try it, and I'm not going to give you the recipe here. Have a look on YouTube, look it up, bannock bread. Okay, survivor's bread comes from Scotland. Very simple bread recipe. In fact, it's been used all around the world by all sorts of peoples. It's wonderful. Okay, it's awesome. Making bread, okay, over a fire or over a cook set, awesome fun. Takes a bit of time, takes a bit of patience, but it's great fun. And you can make it suit all tastes. You can put bacon in it, you can put cheese in it, you can put herbs in it, you can have it with a slaver of butter, you can put sultanas in it, nuts in it, honey on it, honey in it. You can make it sweet, okay? And it's such a simple thing to do. It is a really easy thing to do, and it's awesome fun. It's a simple form of calorific energy that you can make, carry, have with you. So again, have a go. Look up bannock bread, BANNOCK bread. Have a look at that, guys. Try the recipe. Personally, my favourite is to do it with a bit of chorizo. Is it chorizo or chorizo? I have no idea. Okay, bit of spicy sausage, shall we say, sliced up, cut up small in it. That gives it a nice bit of pep and a lot of cheese sprinkled through it. Yeah, lovely, lovely and savoury, absolutely delicious. That's it. Cheers to the vote. Yeah, pancetta, bacon. Yeah, bacon. Just, do you know what? Just, and it's about having a play with it. It's like Ian's saying there. Yeah, after this chat, I'm going to find out how much fuel it takes to boil water in my new pot and Timu. Exactly that. And that's exactly part of the fun with this. That little folding stove I showed on this week's video, on the brew video. Okay, one of the great things about that is again, this is something you can use at home. You can do a mini barbecue on it. You can use it as an emergency backup if you have a power outage. You can experiment with it. You can try ideas, techniques, and again, you don't have to be up the woods. Try things at home. I love experimenting with techniques here, where I'm in an environment where if it really doesn't work out, I can sit and go, do you know what? That's pants. It's not working for me. Let's try it another way. Try it another way. I can go out to the shed, get a couple of bits and pieces out. I can adapt it until I find something that actually works, where I'm happy and confident with it. Then I'll transfer it out there. Then I'll try it out in the woods. It's part of the fun. I mean, and looking for kit. I mean, I picked up, or Kaz got me one of these today, which is called a Solar Brother. Solar Brother. Okay, so basically, it's a little parabolic mirrors and a little clip. And apparently, you can put your tinder in there, and by adjusting these, you can focus the beam onto it. Now, I did try a parabolic mirror with a little spring, and that didn't work out so well because the spring was the wrong length to get the focal beam. But because you can adjust these mirrors, okay, you should be able to focus the beam onto the tinder. So I'm looking forward to giving that a go, giving that a try, and seeing how that works out. And again, it's Temu. I think it was pennies actually, to be honest with you. The nice thing with that, it came in a very nice little box. He says, it came in a very nice little cardboard box, and it came with some instructions, which were mostly in French. Did I read them? Yeah. Trial and error. I'll figure it out for myself. And then when I can't do it, I'll go back to the instructions, read through the instructions. But again, it's little things like that that make it an adventure and make it fun. Okay. Now, when I've perfected that, if that works, then I'll start looking at how I could improvise it. Okay. How could I improvise something like that? It becomes playing with things like foil, plastic survival mirrors, things like that, magnifying glasses. So again, it's all part and parcel of this long path of survival, prepping, bushcrafting. It's just playing and figuring it out. Excellent. There you go, John. I should give that a try. Derek, my brother from another mother, how you doing? Sugar bacon. I should give that a try. I shall give that a try, my friend. That sounds interesting. Like anything with a bit of brown sugar. Do like a bit of brown sugar. 25 for about 10 to 20 minutes. Keep an eye on the bacon. So it ends up like a caramelised bacon, a sweet bacon. And it's one of the things that throws a lot of Brits, the whole bacon, maple syrup, bacon with sweet thing. They get thrown by because we're so used to having bacon one way. But do love it. Do love it. Oh, yeah, it's a bit of sweet and savoury. It works well together. Salt and sweet, they go well together. You know, sweet and sour. Yes, do like that. Do like. In fact, actually, last night for my tea, I had chicken wings, and I got a bit greedy and had too many chicken wings. I ended up with one of those evenings where you're sitting there belching in the corner, unable to squeeze another chicken wing into you, and thinking, "There's two left. I can't leave them. Oh, I'll have them in a minute." I regretted that later. So that's what I have for my tea tonight. For my meal tonight, I had a pork shank, slow roasted by the lovely Kaz, along with roast potatoes, mixed veg, and bacon. It was lovely. Maple syrup with oxo on bacon. Don't know about that. I'll give that a try. I'll try anything once. Oxo's though. Oxo's another great survival item. Should always be in your kit. Good old Oxo cube. I used to munch those like they were going out of. I had a thing at one point, especially in very, very cold climates, for just literally a mug, Oxo cube crumbled into it, loads of pepper, drop of salt, give it a stir, and that would do me as a meal almost. I would have that, just find it very, very satisfying. But as a cold weather pick-up, it works really, really well. And of course, Oxo cubes, easy to carry, simple bit of kit to have with you. Tried it with Bovril. Bovril cubes didn't work quite so well. It just seems to be Oxo seem to be the ones that work best. Yeah, delicious, delicious. Oh, right, so where else are we going with this? Yeah, so kit we tried this week, done that. Yeah, one Tigris items. Yeah, liking that so far. Looking forward to spending the night in that woods. Don't even know what the weather report is for this area for this week. Just pretty much here, Mac Turner said, "Solid, we're going for it." Always comes back to food, doesn't it? Again and again, this is it's one of those. Again, survival people saying, "Why does it always come to food with survival, bushcraft, things like that?" Well, it does because it's food is an element of survival. everybody, I hear. So here's one I've come across before. Oxo with biscuit browns. Yeah. And as I said on the video the other day, biscuits brown. Okay. Pretty much bland as buggery. Hard as anything. But once you mixed them with something, made a brilliant thickening agent, made a good porridge. Okay, so you could go sweet or savoury with it. Excellent. Excellent, Derek. Well, that's glad to hear that. So I'll be looking forward to using that. Again, and it's like with all things, isn't it? When you first get it, especially with things like hammocks. I don't know if you anything like me. Every time I pick up a hammock, I sort of feel the material go. How is that going to be strong? And of course it is. Modern materials and fibres are absolutely immensely strong. But I come from a generation that had things made out of canvas. Okay. And I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be carrying a canvas hammock around with me because I tell you what, the thing will weigh a ton. But again, they were brilliant. There's a reason why I've got a Lavoo shelter system. Absolutely fantastic. It's sturdy, it's strong, it's fire resistant. It works really well. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure looking forward to experimenting with that this week. Seeing how I got on with it. Hi, Benny! Mate. Yeah, your video. Okay, I did. Benny Bushcraft, the Paranormal Camper. Mate, sorry, I'll make a note of that. I got your shout out completely wrong, and I do apologise. But for the rest of you, if you've seen Benny's video on making a frying pan using bits of wood, yeah, get over and have a look at it. Brilliant. Brilliant. I'm just going to make a note of this whilst I'm here. Yeah, get over to Benny Bushcraft, the Paranormal Camper. Dive over, have a look at his channel. I mean, it's clever. And Benny, keep up the enthusiasm, mate. I love it. Okay, the joy that you have. You made me smile. I watched that video, and I watched some of your other videos, and the enthusiasm you have, the pleasure you obviously get out of being in the woods. Fantastic, mate. Comes across. Keep it up. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It did sort of well. Mate, you're not that far off perfecting it, but it did work. Okay, let's face it. That bacon was cooked. The egg was cooked. That's all that matters. As we were just saying just now, when you're sat in the field, what else have you got? You got time, haven't you? You find things to do. You either improve your camp, you cook yourself a meal, you using things to take the time up. As I'm always joking, go back to spoon whittling. Okay, spoon whittling. I always take the mickey out of people's spoon whittling. However, there's nothing wrong with spoon whittling. It's perfecting your knife skills, and you get to make a spoon. What the hell? It's just. Actually, I just don't know how many times in the last 16 years somebody's sat there going, when are we going to whittle a spoon? You're like, Ramirez, I could kick you in the goolies. Could at least shown some other things as well as whittling spoons. It seems to be the go-to. Mate, it's all right, just telling the truth. As I didn't see it, at the end of the day, I like people that enthuse. I like people with energy. I like people with a sense of humour. Right? They're survivors, true survivors. Okay. In watching your videos, seeing how you set up your camp, how you're organised and that, and your cook system. Okay. That is brilliant. In fact, I've got a question to ask you, Benny. Okay. And I will credit your video, your channel with it. But would it be all right with you if I copied that? If I did one on that, copying that system? I'll do it in your name, but I think it's superb. I really, really like your ideas there. I wanted to do a video at a later date on improvised cook systems, and so I would like to actually use your ideas there and show yours as one of the improvised cook systems, if that's cool with you, my friend. If not, just say no, won't be offended. Ian, yeah, I've been looking at the lay flat hammocks and systems, and I'll be honest with you, they look a bit bulky to me. What I do find works in mine over the years, I found that if I use an inflatable air mattress, put that in it, that flattens it out a little bit. Cheers, Derek. He's absolutely awesome, mate. Got a great sense of humour, all right, and he enthuses well. Okay, Benny, thank you very much, mate. I will use that at a later date, and I will credit your channel with it. Yeah, see if we can get you a few more. Derek's just subbed to you. That's Hang Tough. He's another good guy, and again, yeah, yeah, love energy, love energy. You know, yeah. It's what it's all about. We've got to show that we're enjoying it and it's pleasure. That's what you're seeing in the rain. And it's raining. Oh, well, I'm wet anyhow. That's the attitude to have. That's a survivor attitude, you know. It's just like, shrug your shoulders. What can you do about it? Skin's waterproof. You ain't going to fill up. You know, all those silly comments that you got when you're serving. You know, if it ain't raining, it ain't training. If it ain't snowing, I ain't going. And you stood there and looked at the instructor and thought, you arsehole. Well, this is what we do. So I do in my channel. I put my videos up each week. We have the social Sunday. The idea is to build this like-minded people that want to come along. I know it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Okay. I know not everybody that watches the channel or subscribes to the channel necessarily enjoys this side of it. And I get that. I'm cool with it. It's not a problem. But those of you that do join, we are little feet. Those of you that join, that come on a Sunday, yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. Mate, it's the way it goes, isn't it? It's the way it goes. But again, it's showing people how to deal with it. Build a snowman. Yeah. Tell you a story. I met a man. Can't really talk about where or when, but I met a man, an indigenous man, in a forest, in a place that is dry through pretty much 2/3 of the day. But every day, pretty much set almost by your clock, right, it rains. And it rains for about 2 hours. And when I say it rains, it is that heavy you can't see through it. Okay? It is absolutely monstrous. And I'm sat there in a village, in a shelter, bumping my British gums in rain. And this old boy looked up and grinned at me, okay, and said, the only reason you don't like rain is because you've been taught your entire life to dislike it. People have said to you your entire life, oh, it's raining. Oh, damn, it's raining. Oh, look, it's raining. He said, and you see it as a negative thing. He said, just accept it. If you just accept it and no longer fight against it, you'll find it easier to deal with. He said, animals don't moan when it's raining. They try and shelter out of it if they can, but if they can't, they accept it's raining. He said, and that's how you deal with it. And sure enough, it takes a little bit of mindset, a little bit of thinking that way. But after a while, I got to the point where, yeah, I don't want to be cold and wet. But you know what? It's rain. It's only rain. I think of the positive things, you know, especially if we've had a really dry summer, especially if it's getting to the point where things need to grow. especially if it's a high fire risk. I sit there and I welcome it and I enjoy it. There's nothing better than a really heavy downpour on a scaldingly hot, humid, dry day when it's dusty and crappy. You go, we could have probably all got hundreds of stories about rain. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's not going to melt us. Cools you down. It's again, it's getting back to that indigenous way of thinking. It's about accepting. It's hot. It's hot. What can you do about it? If it's raining, it's raining. What can you do about it? If it's cold, it's cold. What are you going to do about it? And that is the thought process. What you're going to do about it. Okay. If it's a risk to life, yeah, you shelter and get out of it. Okay. You change the environment if it's going to be a risk to life. If it's not a risk to life, accept it and enjoy it. Okay. It's just a mindset thing. Um, it's this thunderstorms. So a thunderstorm comes rain, but I love thunderstorms. I will go and sit and watch thunderstorms. Thunderstorms in the tropics, one of the most awesome thing you'll ever watch. You sit and watch them for hours. Reaver man, 5:30 start. I'm off to bed. Good night, chaps. Mate, take it safe. I'll take it easy. Have a great week. Next week, just to let you know before you go, next week it is exactly to the day 1 year that my channel's been running. What I'm going to do that night is probably about an hour in, I'm going to announce which subscriber it is that's won the prize. Trying to figure out how I could do this and trying to figure out how to come out of this and put up everything on one side is a pain in the arse. So I sat and spoke to Kaz. What we're going to do? Well, I'm actually going to do the random generator at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Kaz is going to film it as a short for me, so that I get the number, and then I should go down through my subscriber list, count you all off until I get to that number, and whoever that is will be the winner of the prize. Simple as that. I think that's the fairest way. And again, as we said, wherever you are in the world, it will wend its weary way to you guys. Okay. Yeah, jungle situation is, yeah, rainforest. The humidity sucks moisture out of you. Definite pub live stream. Yeah. Excellent, mate. Excellent, Reaver man. Yeah. Yeah. Is the right of the squad you can play? Well, let's face it. Okay. So if you go back a couple of thousand years ago, well, probably not a couple of thousand years ago, I'm exaggerating time there, but you go back to ancient Britain. Okay. You think of those two poor Roman centurions stood on the wall, Hadrian's Wall, right, looking out on that bitterly cold, windy night, stood there, and all of a sudden they see this mass of naked Pictish warriors stand up in front of them. And one looks to the other and says, swords made by the cheapest bloody manufacturer. The fucking cape, I've had it 10 years, it's worn out. And I'm now confronted by a horde of naked, angry blue men. And I'm wearing a miniskirt and fucking sandals. I had enough for the army. You know, it's the soldier's right to moan. The soldier has moaned for eternity. Okay? Simple as. Right? It's the way it is. Doesn't denigrate from them. It's their rights. One of the few rights that they have. Garden convents. Oh, Lee, I don't know that I could do that, mate. Benny, that's I love that. English are terrible. They issued a weather warning here last Wednesday with a risk to life, mate. I've seen more disruption in the snow globe. Brilliant. Like that. I should probably nick that off you and use it again myself at a later date because I think that's hilarious. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, so that's how we're going to do the shout out. And what I'll do is that the live stream, you guys will be the first to know about it next Sunday. So I'll record this I'll record the draw as a short cast. So again, open and honesty means that everybody out there can see that it was done randomly and it was done fairly. But you guys on the live stream will be next Sunday the first guys to know who's got it. Okay, fingers crossed. There'll be somebody that's on the live stream. Benny, not a problem, Benny. Take it easy. Keep them coming. Have fun. Stay safe. And be good, my friend. You know, and go sort your daughter out. Family comes first, always. Benny, thank you very much for joining us. Awesome, dude. Oh, absolutely fantastic. And again, like I said, any of you guys go over and have a look at Benny Bushcraft, the Paranormal Camper. Obviously, look at this, he's an ex-squaddy as well. Some of his intros have me fucking pissing myself. Absolutely laughing. He's some of his stealth approaches and that. There's yeah. Cheers, John. And any man that's prepared to attempt a frying pan with sticks, okay, has got my vote. Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant, and it was one of those videos. You know, when sometimes you're watching a video and you're like you actually cross your fingers and you're willing it to work. You sit there going, go on, my friend. Yeah, it was one of those videos. Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic. And I've got to sit down tonight and actually go do some catching up. So any of you with a channel that I haven't caught up with or commented on for a while, I do apologise. This last 2 to 3 weeks have absolutely been a nightmare. And what with pup and other bits and pieces, I've been running around like a blue-ass fly. So I have promised myself tomorrow a couple of hours to sit down and watch through people's videos. I know, Derek, I know you've put up some shorts and I haven't had a chance to catch up with them yet, which again, is the way it goes. And this is one of the things with the channel as well. I find it's like the comments. 3 hours this morning answering comments. Okay. All right, I admit part of that is purely simply because I'm a one-finger typer. Okay. And being that I'm literally or what I would call semi-literate, okay, means that I try the best I can to spell things correctly, get punctuation where I can, and I sort of end up typing things out, looking at it, going back, redo it, and so on. Not asking any sympathy, but that's just what it takes me. Good old phone next to me, I'm forever sitting there going, and how do you spell such and such, and how do you spell such and such? So it takes me a little while to get through them. And lo and behold, this week, for whatever reason, the comments section just blew up. It might be purely and simply because we got the giveaway and there's new people subbing and putting comments to try and make sure that I'm aware that they're there. Which, again, the way I'll do the shout or the draw will be quite simple. After sitting there with a bag last time and writing out 500 names, folding them all in bits of paper and dropping them in there to draw one out was an absolute nightmare. And as you guys said, random generator on your phone. So it's going to be 1 to whatever number we've got as subscribers then, random generate that, and then just go down the pages till I get to the right number. is that person's going to get it. Yeah. Oh, mate, don't. I know that's going to be one of the things that's going to get me down a little bit. I think if my channel gets to the point where I'm receiving that many comments every day, I mean, I will always answer my comments myself. I don't care if I suddenly become a millionaire tomorrow. I'm not going to pay somebody else to sit here and write out answers to comments or thank yous and that in my name. That's part of my responsibility. It's my channel. But I know it's also going to come to a point one day where I turn around to all you guys and apologise and go, basically, you're going to get a thumbs up, a smiley face or something like that, just to let you know I've seen it. And again, that's one of the reasons why I like the live stream. Got the live stream when we got a small core of guys here that join me. We have a natter and we have a laugh. The conference was the governor's. I was just thinking, mate. I just had a story from Mick time. Okie doke. As a young man, and I was a young man, about 15 years old, me and my mates. So this is difficult. How do I put this? Yeah, about 15 years old. Me and my mates met some girlies in the town. And they were about the same age. And these girlies went to a convent school. And as sometimes happens with young people, they arranged, or we arranged, to go over to the convent one night late, sneak in and see these girls. Now, it was all very innocent. Nothing happened. Maybe a little kiss and a cuddle. That was it. You were at that age, and we were a generation that really just were quite naive. And the first night went fine. The second night didn't go too bad. But the third time, we were caught. And we were caught by the nuns. And I swear to God, they hover. Okay? It was like something out of the Blues Brothers. This Irish nun came through that door screaming in such a manner that 5 young, quite fit and healthy young lads literally went out of a second-story window without touching the wall or climbing down any of the gear they climbed up. It was like a big trellis. It was literally out the wall, hit the deck, started running. I still can't figure out where the 2 nuns came from that chased us off the grounds, right? And I didn't think you could move that fast in a gown. Never been so scared in all my life, right? And I did not think it was very Christian to hear an elderly Irish nun screaming the phrase, "I'll have your balls on a plate." I did not think it was very Christian. I've been absolutely terrified of convents ever since. And I'm very, very respectful and nervous around nuns. Okay, so there's a story of sins from my youth. Hey Gary, no problem there, my friend. I will take that. I'll take all the subscribers I can get. At the end of the day, it helps me grow the channel, gives me encouragement. Okay, like I say, Katrina, I was terrified. I think it's one of the things that may have led me more towards the druidic path. No, nuns tend to make me nervous. Chewbacca, he's fine, mate. He's fine. He's curled up with Kaz this evening. Absolute, yeah. He's found his feet. He's found his confidence within the house. So he's now at the point where his little legs are stomping around trying to put things in places. and trying to figure out where he fits in the pack. He's pretty sure he's bigger than he is. In fact, he thinks he's a wolf. Today we had a Chinook go over, and the first thing that happened was he jumped up. I thought he'd be nervous because they go over fairly low here, so we're quite close to Orifolium. But he jumped up, charged out the door, barking at the sky. He was going to see it off, and by golly, it worked. He saw it off. He chased it away, and he come in so proud of himself. No, don't want to see any nun films. Terrified the crap out of me. Well, they do hover. Yeah. When I that later date, I think about 4 or 5 years later, watched the Blues Brothers for the first time. It was like seeing the same thing over again. Frightened the crap out of me. None of this, none of that, none of the other. He certainly did, John. He went out there. He was giving it. Yeah, I've seen it off. I've seen it off. And he had a bit of a chew on a bone this evening. Right, just to very careful with it. Just like, there you go. It's a little bit of bones. You have that for a minute or two. Have a chew on that. Your little puppy teeth and that. You had a chew on that. Cool. Yeah. Cynisophobia. That's what it's called, is it? Oh. And yeah, so yeah, trying to get that bone back off him. I had to swap it in the end. The fear of nuns. Right, cynisophobia. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm that terrified of them. They just make me a little bit. Just takes me back. But it was a 2-story drop to the floor, and I still. It's funny what you can do when you're scared, right? Because I can still remember it in the deck rolling and coming up in a run, and I remember thinking to myself afterwards, how the hell did we do that? How the hell did we do that without breaking a leg, breaking an arm, or anything like that? And we all went out without a thought. That was the other thing. It was literally leg it all over the window. It's amazing what you can do when you're scared. Loading the Bofors. Another wrong the Bofors gun. Good bit of kit. Adrenaline. Yeah. Adrenaline. It's a wonderful tool. Use it. And it's, again, working as a doorman. A couple of times, you get young lads working with you, sit there and go, I'm a bit scared, I've got to admit it. And you sit there and go, use it. Use it. Right? We all get a bit twitchy at times. Use it. Right? Don't let it beat you. Right? And that's what true courage is. True courage is being afraid, knowing you're afraid, and dealing with it. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's distracted. And Katrina, when we next come up to Blackpool, don't get all your mates dressed as nuns. Well, kinky nuns possibly, but yeah, it sort of reminds you of another era, doesn't it? When all the teachers smoked. You got clipped around the ear off. God, I used to get the cane all the time. God, blimey, I used to get that. And it was one of those things where I don't actually ever remember doing anything really wrong. It just seemed to happen that almost this felt like on a weekly basis I ended up before the headmaster getting the cane, to the point where towards the end of my school career I took my turn as a hall monitor. Sat outside the secretary's office and got told at one point by the secretary, take these to the headmaster's office. Promptly walked down to the headmaster's office, knocked on the door, and he went, "Ah, Mitchell, come in, put your hand out." Thwack, thwack, thwack. "Now, what have you done?" Look on his face. "I can bring you these, sir, on the hall monitor." And he didn't even apologise. Teacher used to nick your bags. They did that to everybody, did it to us all. Yeah. And that was to buy the grottiest fags you could. And that way the teachers wouldn't bother nicking them. It's you've got it right. It's when the teacher looks at you and goes, "God blimey, you can have them back. I don't want them." We did turn out all right. Yeah, so just sort my shirt out. I keep looking at my collar and thinking to myself, "Could you scruffy get? Actually, I'll tell you what, I'm scruffy bugger that I am." That was the thing about getting the cane regularly, wasn't it? Right? It taught you one thing. It taught you pain is very short and it's sharp. It don't last that long. Okay. You learnt techniques. You learnt how to tuck your thumb back out the way so that it didn't catch you across that bit there, because that would hurt. And you try and take it across there. Right? God forbid it would hit you there, hit you on the end of the thumb, or even worse still, you jerk back, or you'd be really nasty and just get you across there. Oh, that would throb for days. That would, God, you knew about it. But you used to just relax your hand, catch it in the palm of the hand. Oh, Derek, I tell you what, if you knew then what you knew now, you would have shaved his eyebrows off. There's different time. And again, it was, I won't say it was right. Okay. Chalkboard Brothers. We used to have a teacher that was very, very accurate with that, and he could get, he literally throw it like a throwing knife, because it would hit your end on right in the forehead. And he was a religious education teacher, so it was the best of times. It taught us. It's one thing it taught us was to accept the fact when you're in the wrong, you're in the wrong. Take your punishment, face it, face up to it, and it's done. It's over. Over, done, and dusted. That's one thing I feel sorry for the kids today. With the way things go today, kid gets something wrong, and okay, it's not a physical punishment, but the punishment seems to go on forever. We'll put a mark against his name. He'll go on a report, and he'll go into this, and he'll go into that, and it just, he's a troublemaker. He's this, he's that, and it goes on and on and on. In our day, come in, hold your hand out, thwack, 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 get out. Right? You accepted the responsibility of, yeah, I messed up, I've been punished, it's over, done. Okay. And it taught us to take responsibility for our actions. You tend to find people of our generation, when they are the sort of guys at work that make a cut, and they'll go immediately and say, "Boss, my bad." Okay. And if the boss is of the same generation, they'll go, "Oh, God, cheers, thanks for letting me know, let's get it sorted." Right? And it gets sorted. However, there are people today that just want to drag it out and then have an inquiry and have a report, and then what we're going to do, and then we'll have a meeting about it, and then we better sit everybody down and discuss it. We better discuss what happened. And better make sure everybody's welfare's okay. So better make sure nobody's shaken up by it or nobody's disturbed. You know, like it just goes on and on and on, and that's the wrong way. It's the wrong way. You mess up, take your punishment like a man, and it's done. Yeah, and then you move on. You get on with things. You don't carry a grudge. Then it's one of the things I think happens with things like shootings and stuff like that. They say, "Oh, you know, he's so disaffected. He was so affected." Well, you bring people up in a society that doesn't let things go, then and don't teach them. Yeah, you cock up. You can take your punishment. It's over and done with. There you go. Following day, you walk into the classroom. Teacher goes, "All right, Mr. Mitchell, fine, done. There's nothing hanging over you. It's clear." And I think that's something that's important. Whereas like I say, we've got society now where it's like, yeah, he did that, he did that, he did that, and it keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps going, and eventually people are going to break. You know. Bloody hell, jail. Oh, I suppose it's assault, isn't it? Mm. Don't get me wrong. There's scrapping and there is assault. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Christ, yeah. Definitely a lot easier to hold a grudge, and people do seem to hold a grudge rather than just move on. Move on. It's over, isn't it? It's done. It's dusted. Yeah. And we do have better class of friends. Yeah. We exactly how we didn't call them to get ourselves out of jail. We went, you know, we're in the poo. My cock up, my bad, my mistake. What's the punishment? Oh, take it on the chin, deal with it, move on. Yeah. Um, and I think media doesn't help. I think the media today, news companies, people like that, they just want to push their own private agendas. There's a theory that you can control people through fear, and by creating more fear, you control people. Only works so far. You can ask the Romans about that. That only worked so far. In fact, you can ask the Byzantinians about that. You can ask any of the great empires about that. Yeah, fear basically only works for so long, and manipulated fear it's yeah doesn't work forever. People see truth, people see light eventually, and then unfortunately they then stand up very angry and take things into their own hands. Oh yeah, do you know how many people over the years have you had a scrap with and then become best mates? Yeah, it's I can probably name 4 or 5 people that over the years I've had dust ups with, and you know what? I don't bear a grudge against any of them, and in the majority of cases become better mates for it afterwards. It clears the air. And we were able to. That's the other thing. Community, building community, and this is again bushcraft, survival, prepping. Build your community. Okay. Now, where I live, out of that window there, the next row of houses is probably 35 yards away, 35 metres. And there's a little alleyway between us, and it is 50 metres down to the road where I park the car. And there is 5, 6, 8 houses that side, 8 houses this side. And I know everybody in that row and everybody in this row. Not because they ever introduced themselves to me, but because I purposely introduced myself to them when they moved in. We've been here 30 something years, so they've all changed over the years. And they move in. I make a point to introduce them. I'm Nick. I live up 69. Need anything? Get any problems? Give us a shout. Yeah, and it say good morning. Get involved. There's been a couple of times when there's been a few disputes between the neighbours, and I've gone down, said my 5 pence worth, pretty much. Shake hands, shut the fuck up, or kick your balls in. Okay. There's been times I've had to go and say to people, look, that's a disabled bay. That's such and such is disabled bay. He parks there. He's had to book that disabled bay and have it put there. Don't park in it. And it's all gone fine. Built a community. Okay. I know them all well enough to say hello to. And that is because I've had to purposely build the community. I've actually purposely had to go out and speak to them. Okay. So it's a case of build your community. I'm not saying I would necessarily trust every single one of them with my wallet or something, but I know them well enough, and they know me well enough to go, do you know what? I won't mess with him, and he's a nice guy. If I need a hand or there's a problem, they all know that I have a level of medical training to the point where I've regularly got neighbours coming round with their kids. Bumps, scrapes, usual bangs and bruises. And again, I'm not a doctor, so I sit there and I'll have a look. And if it's an obvious, just bang, break, screw, basic kid injury, clean it up, put a plaster on it, pack them off. Yeah. If I'm concerned or I look at it and I go, no, that needs hospital treatment, then either I will try and get to hospital or arrange for hospital treatment for them in some way. Okay. And again, it builds a community. And funny enough, it works. It's I wouldn't say we're all close, but it's building a little bit of a community, and that gives me that little bit of safety as well, because there is a good handful of them I know that if I was away on doing something, I might training or I might be out in the woods, and something happens with Kaz, she can literally, there are people there that will kick the door down and make sure she's all right. Okay, so you have to build your community. It's a prepping survival bushcraft thing. Okay, it's unfortunately people are scared to build community, or people are scared these days because of the way society is. So sometimes us, as the sort of guys we are, have to go and sort of pull them in. Okay, not necessarily in an aggressive manner, but just, oh yeah, I'm Mick, I live with so and so. How you doing? Do you need a hand with that? It's just, yeah. Into school scraps, oh, they were a different time, weren't they? There is no more trust. People don't have trust, but you've got to build it. It's been knocked out of them. Take it on yourself to try and build a bit of trust. And I don't say you don't trust all of them. You're not going to get them all to be best friends, but build your community. Start taking it back. Grab it and control it yourself. Don't let society break down around you. Okay, sometimes you need to just sort of stand up and go, "All right, guys, how you doing? No, I'm such and such. I live up so and so. Do you need a hand with that?" Especially, I tend to use the point when they're first moving in. I go, "Oh, guys, I tell you what, I'll move my car out of my disabled bay there because it'll put you a little bit closer. I'll pop that down in the square. Yeah, but that's my disabled bay. I'm Mick. I live up at 69. But yeah, whilst you're moving in, use that, no problem. Just opens up to them. He's a nice guy. It also lets them know it's my disabled bay. Don't park there." So again, it's just doing that. It's you've got to try and build it. Don't let society take it away, which is what certain media groups and organisations are trying to do. Keep people divided. You keep control. Take it back yourself. Build your community. It's it puts the power back in your hands locally to you. And like I say, not all of them are you going to turn around and say, "Do you know what? He's my new best friend." But I expect 200 years ago in the little villages and communities, I expect there was bugbears, arguments, and people didn't like one another. Our nanny state is trying to take over the kids' minds, but I don't think it's much nanny state. I think it's the media. I think the media has more power than the government. I think those little chat shows and the news programs and that have more control over what happens in any country than any politician. I think the politicians are now scared of them. I think it's the likes of Mr. Murdoch and others. They're the They're the power. They're the power behind the politicians. Because if they want to destroy you, they can. Oh, yeah, got to be careful. When we got to be careful what we say. They're all out there. But I do. I think that's one of the things that's happening in the world. No, I don't think it's necessary to present to some people like that, but yeah, you got to be so careful. Got to be so careful. Yeah. I mean, I don't know so much about the States. That works. I think we're all lucky. I think being such a large country, I think you have a lot of local media, and I think that's maybe you're in a bit better state than we are over here, living in such a small, densely packed country, where we see so many agendas. Oh, so many agendas. Uh, the politicians saying things like, "We're going to have a little bit of a public consultation, and if we don't like it, or the public don't like it, we won't do it." ULEZ, prime example. That's paying £12.50 to drive your car into London. And then when you get into the central London, paying another fee to go into the central London. And yeah, yeah. Oh, Turkey again, eh? Yeah. Yeah, agree with you, Gary. But then again, that's the fault of the media and the schools, and that it's a different society now. No, they don't charge you any extra to leave London. They just charge you to go into London. And if you have a car not built before a certain date, you'll get the charge, even if you live in London. So as soon as you take it off your driveway, you'll get the charge, even if you live there. It's to create clean air and to get old cars off the road. And it's definitely not a tax against people that can't afford new cars. You know, it's not a oh well, it's that we want the wealthy to have cars and private transport, but sod the poor man. Oh fuck me, yeah, he's getting kickbacks and kickbacks. You think how many millions of cars go in and out of London on a daily basis? Okay, and the other wonderful thing is he runs something called TfL, Transport for London. Okay, so you take the cars away, and then everybody's got to use the bus. Everybody's got to use the tube. That pays more money into his coffers. Wonderful thing, in that, isn't it? Yeah, don't see many sort of independent transport companies in London. I think they all, I think it all goes through TfL. Funny that. I thought that's a monopoly. Didn't think you could do that. Never mind. Never mind. Come the revolution. My friend. How you doing, mate? Green agenda is green on the outside, red on the inside. Yeah. And I don't get me wrong, I'm as green could be. I would love to see a mate, you're all good, excellent. I would love to see a utopian world where we're no longer polluting anything and everything's all good and that. Of course I would. Any one of us would. Give us the answers. Stop trying to sell us batteries. Okay. There's all this expert and scientific ability out there. Right? Find an answer. Don't just sit there taxing us and telling us what the poor man can't do, whilst the rich man sits there and flies around the world. Yeah, find an answer. Um, Personally, and I've done a bit of research into this in my time. Okay, I don't think for places like the UK, they are minimal, 1%. I don't think in the UK going with electric cars is worthwhile. For me here, I've got no way of charging a car from my house. That ain't going to work. But I do think hydrogen cell technology, if you look into it, that's a possibility. Um, Especially if you have a look at what Lord Bath has done at JCB, that was absolutely brilliant. So he blew the world apart by showing that you could convert a diesel engine to run on hydrogen cells or hydrogen gas. In actual fact, you can make it cheaper than you can make a diesel engine, and it makes it more economical. And not only that, you can adjust the power settings. So a 2.5 litre ex-diesel engine converted to run on hydrogen can have its fueling sorted so that that can actually become a 500 brake horsepower engine at a maximum of 3,000 revs, i.e. it can be put into a lorry. Yeah. Equally, it can be put into a car and produce the same horsepower at higher revs. So you can have a car or you can have a truck running off the same thing. Yeah, they're still recharged by fossil fuels. Don't get me wrong, I regularly get the, why do you own a Land Rover? Oh, it's quite simple why I own a Land Rover. One, I do a lot of work in the countryside. Two, don't need a Land Rover for that necessarily, but I have a disabled wife that I need to get a big mobility scooter into the back of a vehicle. Oh, you could get a van then. My wife can't get into a van. However, Land Rover is one of the few manufacturers that built a car with hydraulic suspension that I can lower so that she can get into it. And it's big enough to pull my trailer. It's also big enough for me to put the mobility scooter in the back of and still carry my granddaughter and my son in the back of the car. The other thing is, it's a big Land Rover. I've got to admit that. It's 2.5 litres or 2.7 litres. It's a V6 engine. It's a very well tuned diesel engine because I did Yorkshire and back last week. I'm on the motorway, steady 65 mile an hour. I maintained 48 miles to the gallon. Now, I know everybody says to me miles to the gallon doesn't actually equate to how much pollution you're putting out. But if I'm using less fuel, shortly I'm creating less pollution. Yeah, braking system in electric cars is as much of a polluter as a normal car. And what's it take to ship all those elements? And again, we're using earth elements, finite resources that have to be mined, shipped around the world. Yeah, they do way more for. That's interesting with Lord Bath at JCB. So he owns JCB. He's a good old boy. Okay, very intelligent man. And right at the beginning of the Green Revolution, he fell for the battery thing, and then he discovered that his mini diggers, his mini juts, he made by making it battery powered, made it too heavy for a guy to put on a trailer and pull behind a car, which was what the mini digger was designed for. It was designed for the small builder, goes on a trailer, goes behind his van, tows it to the job, does the job, and the rest of it. Good work tool. The other downside was it gave a 4-hour runtime. So then needs to charge, and it needs to charge for a minimum of 8 hours. Well, if you're on a building site and your excavators can only run for 4 hours, they're not very practical, are they? And then he pointed out it's the same thing with HGVs. He said it's great having battery powered HGVs. How much do they weigh? How much do you reduce the load carrying capacity? And then how long does it charge? And how long does it actually run for? Yeah. And there's a fire risk. Yeah. And by golly, you get those lithium batteries burning. You don't want to be around the pollutants that they put out. Nasty, 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 nasty. Um, and again, if you go back to hydrogen, yes, it's a flammable gas. So was LPG, and we used to run cars on that. Pollutant wise, puts out water. Okay. $10 apiece, and then an hour searching for the charger. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So again, and don't get me wrong, I can see the future has got to change. Fossil fuels are running out. Yeah, they are polluting. I think more technology could go into the development of better systems, better engines. Right, let's move forward. Um, did love it up there, Jerry. Yorkshire was absolutely stunning. Although it was some cats and dogs, but we got a 2 hour break and we did love it. And I tell you what, I thoroughly loved the town of Scarborough. Okay, now I've travelled all over the UK. I've travelled over the world a fair bit. But I tell you what, people of Scarborough, so welcoming, so nice, so polite, so friendly, so helpful. It was absolutely brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Beautiful place. We then drove out to Pickering to pick the dog up. Had a lovely drive. Absolutely fantastic scenery. Beautiful countryside. Again, gorgeous roads. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a wonderful time up there. Even the guy in the garage was absolutely stunning. Then we came back, we cut across country to the A62, I think it was, and we came through Castle, can't remember the name of it. Huge estate, anyhow, absolutely beautiful. Thoroughly enjoyed that fantastic run. Was absolutely fuming with myself that I hadn't taken the camera up with me to record it. It was quite annoying. But yeah, it was nice. Did thoroughly enjoy it. And do you know what? And I'll tell you how nice the people of Scarborough are. It's something I've never had down here. So we got up and we got up there fairly late in the day and we were knackered. We'd had a hell of a drive up, wind and rain the whole way, lots of concentration, motorway driving, you all know what it's like. It was a long old schlep. And we'd had a busy weekend as well, so I was chin strapped. And we got up there, got into the hotel, got sorted there, and I said to Kaz, do you know what? There's a Kentucky right opposite, and I really fancy a bit of Kentucky Fried Chicken. And she went, yeah, go on, not a problem. So I walked across the road, walked in, place is empty, two nice guys behind the counter. Says the guy, how can I help you? I said, could I please have a 2 pieces of chicken chips, twice please, and a bottle of Pepsi? And he looked up and he went, yeah, not a problem. Unfortunately, it's going to be 15 minutes. And I was like, oh, not a problem. He said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. He said, if you upgrade to the 6 piece bucket, you'll get Pepsi and you'll get some side dishes as well. And it's pretty much going to cost you the same. And I thought, well, that was damn honest. So go on in, I'll have that instead then. He said, it'll still be 15 minutes, not a worry. He then looked up and he said, right, do you want your free drink? I said, pardon? He said, he said, because we're making you wait, so I'll give you a free Pepsi. He said, make yourself comfortable over there. And I said, oh, do you know what, that's bloody nice of you. I said, I've never been offered anything like that down where I live. I said, thank you very much. Is that a policy with the company? He said, no, it's just our store policy. Treat people nice. We said, be nice to people, they're nice back. I said, thank you very much. Not a problem. And I sat down at the table. And he looked over and he said, I'm really sorry, it's going to be another 5 minutes, but what I've done, I've upgraded you to the 10 piece instead of the 6 piece. Thank you very much. It's a lot of chicken for just me and Kaz. But anyhow, yeah, I did. Really, really nice, polite. Well, no, sorry about that, mate. I have no idea what YouTube's playing at. You should have got the notification. Yeah, it was fantastic service skills. It was, do you know what? It was really, really nice. It's one of those things. I've always believed in tipping. I mean, I know it's different in the States for you guys that are in the States. I know you've got a different system over there, but in the UK, there's no requirement to tip whatsoever. Okay. However, I was brought up to believe that you give a gratuity if you get good service from somebody who's polite and makes an effort. give them a gratuity. Even if it's just a couple of quid. It just say thank you, because nobody has to put the extra effort in. So I've always, if I get good, don't get me wrong, if I get crap service, you get bugger all. But if I get good service, if I get polite people, if I get people that go out their way to help me or my missus enjoy our meal or enjoy our visit or enjoy our stay, I always leave a gratuity. Same thing in the hotel, clean, tidy. The lady that comes to sort you out, the lady that comes to sort you out. That sounds dodgy, doesn't it? Yeah, the what do you call her? Not a maid. I won't call her a maid, but that poor bugger that has to clean up after you, right? So when I went down and I paid the bill at the end of the day or the following day, and we went to leave, I turned around and I said, "There's a gratuity for the poor lady that's got to empty the bin. Unfortunately, we had a Kentucky last night. It is all in the bin. I haven't made a mess, but yeah, that's just an apology. Simple as that." Yeah, I did enjoy it, Jerry. It was nice. Housekeeping. That's it, Derek. Or housekeeper, Gary. That's right. And again, it's that poor person probably has to clean everybody's mess up on a daily basis. And if on some occasion they get given a little bit of a thank you, that's going to make their life a little bit easier, or maybe just make their day a bit better. Simple as that. And that's all you can do. Try and share that. Try and be a nice person. I'll get into the druid thing. Try and be a good person. Yeah. In fact, actually, Katrina there, she knows more about my things than most of you guys. But yeah, so did a blessing for her wee one, which was a real pleasure to do. Went up to Blackpool, did blessing up there. Had a fantastic time. Met everybody up there. It was awesome. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Exactly. Treat all people as you'd wish to be treated yourself. Okay? And then my attitude to that is, if I'm arse to you, if I'm an arsehole to you and you stand on my throat, then I deserve it. It does. It's Katrina, you don't have to remember always, it was a pleasure and an honour to do it, as it always is. Okay? Yeah, treat all other people as you want to be treated yourself. As I'm accepting of all people. I always say, I have no cares. I don't care about your race, your religion, your sexuality, where you're from, or what you do. It does not bother me in the slightest. There's only one thing that gets up my nose: is people with a chip on their shoulder, because there's always some poor bugger out there worse off than them. Yeah, and that's. Yeah, so there you go. Great service. Leave a small box of chocolates. Do you know, the other thing is, next time you go back there, they remember. Okay? They remember. And also, just remember the times that you yourself have done something, maybe at work, maybe just in your day-to-day life, and somebody thanks you properly. Not saying give you something, but actually a genuine, heartfelt thanks that makes you go, "Oh, did right." And again, it's one of the reasons I wanted to do a giveaway. As I said the other day, I would happily, well, in fact, any of you are passing, you want to come in and have a cup of tea, say hi, you're welcome in my house, all my subscribers. Just don't all come at once, it's a tiny house. If anybody's stuck, needs to crash on my sofa for a night, you're down this way, give me a shout. Not a problem. Benny, just remember to revet it well, okay? And if you're not going to revet it, your underground shelter, just remember, get yourself a stick, carve your name, your date of birth and that on it, stick it up above it just in case the worst happens. Yeah, be careful there, mate. As an ex sapper, yeah, I've seen a couple of things like that come down. Northumberland. So there's another beautiful place. You like Northumberland? Always tip the doorman. Always thank the doorman. Do you know what? As somebody who worked the door for many years as a little bit of a top up to my income, it was always liked those end of nights where the majority of people are just walking out, they ignore you, the doorman, or their attitude is they don't like doorman anyhow. But every now and again, you'll get somebody that will come out and just go, cheers for keeping us safe tonight. Right? Somebody who understood that you stood there all night watching other people enjoy themselves. And what's that, Benny? And yeah, as a doorman, it was quite a thankless job because let's face it, look what I was going to deal with. I'm either dealing with people that are having issues with one another and throwing their fists around. I'm dealing with people that have drunk way too much, possibly overdosed, right? Are in a crap mood, having a go at one another, being sick, or just stood there all night watching people have a great time and thinking to yourself, 4 hours to go. Got to go home myself and have a cup of tea, hit the sack, you know. And every now and again somebody would leave and they would just look at you and they go, cheers tonight, mate, appreciate it. You know, like, oh, thanks. Made it worthwhile. I mean, don't get me wrong, got paid well enough for doing the job, as you do. But just, a little bit of thought to somebody now and again. So I always, every time I leave a venue where there's door staff, I'll always make a point of saying, cheers, guys, thanks for looking after us tonight. You know, simple as that. And now and again, they look at you a bit funny and go, hey? Yeah, babysitters. No, I've got some funny stories from that, but not ones I can really tell on this. But yeah, I've got some. If I ever get to sit around, any of you I ever get to sit around a campfire with, if you ask me, just say, go on in, tell us some of these stories from the working the door. Then, yeah, not necessarily politically correct, but there was some funny episodes over the years. I've seen some damn funny things. People and alcohol, mate, it makes people do the damnedest things. It really does. It really, really does. Probably the reason I don't drink that heavily these days, anyhow. So, Benny, you're not going to get in it. Are you going to put somebody else in it? Yeah, underground shelters. Have fun with that. Anyhow, so there we are. We're at 1 hour and 57 minutes, 33, 34, 35 seconds. Guys, we're going to cut it there in a minute. 2 hours, I think, is enough for you poor buggers looking at this ugly mug and listen to me. Wherever you are in this world, have an absolutely have an absolutely awesome week. Okay? The best stories always believe, but yeah. Vicks on toilets, yeah, Vicks or Vim on the system, yeah, that worked, yeah. You just get yourself some Vim, which is for those, I don't know if you get it in the States, but basically it's an ammonia-based scouring powder. We'll sprinkle that on the back there, stops that, yeah. Anyhow, guys, wherever you are in this world, have fun, look after yourself, have an absolutely awesome week, yeah. Guys, this channel's been going a year. Right. Helmut, thank you, my friend. Thanks for joining us. This channel's been going a year next Sunday to the day. Next Sunday, I shall be on here. Hopefully, you'll all join me. We will call out the winner for the subscriber about an hour in. But other than that, next Sunday is going to be a celebration of a year. Okay. I think the idea for me there is just to have a laugh, a joke. We might go over some of the things we've done, some of the giggles we've had, and go with that. Ajax, yeah. It works. Yeah. All right. So, guys, take care. I'm struggling here. Take care. Have your adventures. Have your fun. Stay safe. As always, love those you do. Forgive those you don't. And peace and light be upon you all. Have an awesome one, guys. I'm going to go make Kaz a nice cup of tea now and make sure she's all right and let her know that you've all sent her love. All right. Thank you very much. Love you all. Stay safe. Be good. Mickey out. In fact, what I'll do, I'll finish my fag. I'll give you a minute or two to say goodnight to one another. I will do, Katrina. As she will be here next Sunday. And yeah, we will be celebrating 1 year. Woohoo! Jerry, take care, mate. Good night. Gary, good night, mate. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, keep up the good work with your nipper. Yeah, and if it minute Scout mates wanna watch your videos and subscribe to the channel, more than welcome. More than welcome. I just know that I've got to moderate a little bit more then. I can't do the video on explosives then. Not a good one for the Scouts. You're joking. Guys, take care. This is Mickey. I'm off. Good night all.